Now they will know why they are afraid of the dark. Now they will learn why they fear the night.
Welcome. This is an inaugural podcast for Cinephobia. I'm over here. This is your host, JP. I'm joined by my film friends, Mr. Russell Coker, actor, writer, director, producer. And I'm also joined by Mr. John Balen, editor. Very tired. Been up for many, many hours editing. So we're gonna talk about this film which we just saw, which is
The Prophet.
Un Prophet.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a very foreign film that was not made in America, but maybe the subtitles were. Very interesting, unique cinematic piece that was 2.5 hours long.
Indeed. It was very long, but still a very good film. I enjoyed it. Mr. Balen, I know that this is probably one of your favorite films, right?
I don't know if I'd say it's one of my favorite films, but I do love it. It's a great one. It's too bad it came out in a stacked year for the foreign film category when it came out. It was up against The White Ribbon that won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Un Prophet won the Grand Prix, which is like the second prize at Cannes. And neither of those films even won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Feature. No, it went to The Secret of Their Eyes, the Argentinian film.
Never fucking heard of it.
That's an amazing one too.
Apparently they kept it a secret from us.
Yeah, The Prophet was a big hit when it came out in theaters.
Internationally?
International and in America.
Wow.
It was a big hit. Yeah.
Wow.
When did it come out? Because I know in the movie, like, the dude was looking at PlayStation 2s in the store, so it must be at least 10 years old.
I think it was 2009, right?
Yeah, 2009. It was playing at the ArcLight here in 2010.
Huh.
Yeah, that was when we all saw it.
So 10 years ago. 10 years ago this movie dropped.
Right on the dot.
I know that Sam Raimi was looking to do an American remake of it at one point, but I don't think that ever got off the ground. I know that was one of his favorite films or something that he really liked.
It's been a few years. I don't think anything's coming
Probably
out.
not going to happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see... It could be the same thing, but with alligators.
With alligators and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
It could be good. Who knows?
Let's get on that, Sam.
So my impression of the film was... I've been excited to watch this for a while. I heard a lot of really good things about it, a lot of directors referencing it, and I guess I thought it was going to be a little bit more over-the-top, gory and gangster than what it really was. I was expecting something more grisly and just a little bit more, I don't know, Goodfellas-ish would be the word, but I guess I would compare it a little bit more to the Italian indie gangster film Gomorrah, which I know that Scorsese helped distribute in the U.S., which was very, streets and, not very glamorous. You can't really compare this movie to like a Goodfellas or like The Godfather compared to, the look of it and everything.
Yeah, best description I've seen of this movie is probably that it's Scarface in a French prison, but he's also like going through a spiritual connection with God.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Maybe the coolest part of the movie, for me at least.
So, the title, The Prophet. So, I only saw one time where it was actually something that he prophesized, was when they were about to hit the deer.
He has the dream of the deer.
Yeah.
Sees it coming, yeah.
But, I mean, was there any other part that he prophesized?
Not necessarily. It's more about the similarity of his ascension in the ranks of the criminal underground. In comparison to other prophets like Jesus Christ or Muhammad, from their humble beginnings to becoming like famous people. Like there's that scene where he's, after the exchange when he drops off the briefcase and then he gets Santi in return when he's carrying him back to the car.
Yeah.
It's a lot like
Oh,
Jesus
I
carrying
get
the
it.
Oh.
Right. Jesus walks alone on the sand.
Yeah.
He
And
got
then
sand in his shoe.
a big one is him wrestling with the angel in his dream.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
And
I
then,
thought he was getting something bad was going to happen to him. I didn't realize he was asleep at first. I'm like, that progressed quick.
just visions of, I guess Ryab kind of becomes his guardian angel a little bit.
In a way, yeah, because he keeps on trying to push him towards like Islam and education,
Yeah.
which he does, and kind of helps him out in the long run because he's able to kind of become the big boss guy.
Yeah.
At the end, the description of Scarface in a French prison really nails it on the head there.
Not quite as over the top as Scarface is, but
No, definitely not, and not as stylized or anything like that. But still very engaging and very immersive. You just kind of fall into this French prison world and this character who you don't really know anything about at first, and then you don't really know anything about his past throughout the whole film. Really, it's just kind of follow him.
Well, it was kind of mentioned that he was educated in a youth center and ran off when he was 11.
Oh, right.
We take place at 19, so I assume he's been living on the streets basically that whole time doing petty theft or whatever. Because he was in the beginning, they said he was put in for assaulting a cop or something like that.
That's right.
And that's how he caught 6 years. I guess that I don't know what the time. I feel like if that happened here, the movie would take place in the morgue and be about 5 minutes long. But I guess overseas they're a little less, shoot first, ask questions later. Which in this, spoiler alert, but they straight up carjacked and killed the main dude's bodyguards in broad daylight. I was like. Yeah. I guess maybe 10 years ago there aren't as many nobody really had cell phone cameras, so I guess it's believable, but I was just like, that's ballsy. And I know out here that maybe that, I don't know, I guess I don't know anyone who's carjacked and murdered a bunch of people in broad daylight, so who knows, maybe it would work.
I mean, they did it in Sicario too. I remember they kind of had some scenes like that. They were just so brazen with it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I guess he was just kind of like, this has to be done, and I got to do it, and this is the only opportunity we got, so fuck it. But it was pretty crazy how he just fucking hopped in the car. Pop, pop, pop,
oh, yeah.
And then that little slow motion shot, of him just like, what, was he smiling as the bullets were flying over his head?
Uh-huh.
Is that sort of showing that he's enjoying this life of crime that he's got himself into, or what's the significance of that?
I mean, I think that's
definitely thought he was gonna die.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, I think it was he
thought he was gonna die, or you thought he was gonna die?
I think he knew there was a good chance he wasn't coming out of it alive, and then the fact that he did.
I think he kind of was at peace with whatever was going to happen because he was just so stressed out with what he had to do. Maybe if we're going down the spiritual path, that could be considered his second birth, where the old him basically died at that point because he had to do that. At first it was by survival, but now it's like once he did that, he was basically the boss. So it was kind of the death of his former self, and then from there he ascended to, or I don't know.
And it was literally buried under the dead body. He had the dead body on him, and then he pushed it off, and and then he climbs out the back seat. So it could be metaphorically his rebirth, like he's shedding this old self.
One of my favorite things every time I show this movie to someone is they all have the same reaction, which is that French prisons are just so much nicer than American prisons.
Yes.
And the irony of that being that Jacques Audiard, the director, he was like inspired to make a movie like this when he went to see a screening of one of his movies at a French prison with all the prisoners, and he just could not believe how like terrible the living conditions were.
Really?
And then every time I'm showing someone this movie, they can't believe like the big plate of food he's getting and a baguette.
Yeah, the baguette.
And he's got a room to himself.
Bread, the TV.
And he's got his own clothes. He's not just in a jumpsuit.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to prison in France.
That was definitely one thing that stuck out to me too, and I think that kind of maybe killed the atmosphere that the director was trying to establish.
No,
by this
I think it's a
greasing.
culture thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just weird.
That's
Our
just how it
prisons
is
just
there.
suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even in Norway and a lot of other places, like, the prisoners can literally get a weekend pass and just leave and come back. And they literally have, like, PlayStations and TV. And, like, it's actually, I forget which, probably Norway and some of those other European countries. But it's, like, against the law to put people in solitary confinement because it's considered
Really?
inhumane. Reformative type of emphasis, because there they basically let him leave to work, quote unquote, but
Right.
obviously he wasn't doing the kind of work they thought he was doing.
That worked.
So yeah, it's just interesting to see from a cultural side, like, that just looks like a fucking day camp.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
It was a little vacation.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Yeah, I think any American audience probably going to see that and be like, wow, they got it pretty good over there. I don't know. While watching the whole movie, I couldn't help but think of the prison scene in Goodfellas, you know, where they're all in there and they got their own cell and they're all making their own food and they're doing their own thing, you know. I think one thing to mention is the soundtrack, how it includes a lot of American songs. You got the Nas song on there. I think you got a Bob Dylan song.
Bob Dylan at the end, yeah.
Or what was the whole rationale behind using that? I'm asking you like you're the filmmaker, like you know, but just your opinion.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know what songs are popular in France. Like, maybe those are, like, hits at one point or another. But it also could just be that, like, those songs fit.
Yeah.
They just tempt it with that and
Yeah,
then
that could be.
kept it.
It's a great all-around film. I'm really curious how much it cost to make it. And
It was 13 million.
13 million.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
but that was fucking what, 2005 money, 2009 money.
2009 money, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Probably like 15 to 20 million now.
something like
Interesting.
that. Yeah.
That's a little bit higher than I would have expected. Maybe some of the people in it are big stars that I don't know about. Like me and Russell were just saying, like the main boss guy looks like we've seen him in like a bunch of things before.
It's what's his name?
Holding for Google.
It's Niels Erstrup.
What else is he started?
Oh no, it's Nils.
Nils.
He's in a lot of theater. He's in a lot of films. Yeah, he's had a career in both since the 70s.
Anything we recognize?
Let's see. He was in The Diving Bell and the Butterfly
No fucking idea what the fuck.
2 years before
No.
A Prophet came out. He was in War Horse.
Wars.
Spielberg.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was the grandfather.
Have you seen Gomorrah, John?
Not yet.
Italian indie gangster flick.
Yeah.
If you like The Prophet, I feel like you would like Gomorrah a lot too. Gomorrah is a really good flick.
Yeah, I recognized him from
We're Googling, folks. Just hold on.
Google. He's in A Private Affair from 2002.
Okay.
But yeah, I first saw him in The Diving Bell and the Butterfly.
Oh, okay.
That was my first.
Prophet, great film. Don't be scared to watch it. Don't be afraid of the subtitles. That was definitely one thing that kind of hindered me from watching it for a while. Was, oh god, I'm gonna have to sit through a 2.5-hour movie with subtitles. But since this is Cinephobia, we're trying to dispel any fear, so do not fear the Prophet or a prophet. Don't get it confused with The Prophet, which is a Christopher Walken movie about him being an angel who comes down to earth and kills people or something like that.
Gabriel, if I recall.
Gabriel, yeah. So totally different, two totally different films. Don't get them confused. Thumbs up for me. Russell, you get a thumbs up?
How many thumbs on a scale of thumbs? How many thumbs can we give? Because we need a thumb scale.
Yeah, we gotta have a thumb scale for this. We should probably have like
Or
a
maybe
special rating.
autophobic. Should we?
How cinephobic
How
are you of this
cinephobic
film?
is this?
On a
I
scale of
mean,
1 to
1 to 7. I'll give it 5 cinephobics.
This is new. We're still trying to
Yeah, it's
beta
good.
test this out.
This seems like something you'd really have to watch a couple times to really get all that's it's has to offer, I guess, the symbolism and all that, but it is long. It's 2.5 hours long, and there are subtitles, so it's not kind of a casual thing you can just jump in, but it's very character driven, and you get to see this character transform from like the lowest, just like helpless, has to do what he has to do in order to survive the underground crime world. So it's definitely good.
And not only that, but you get to tell your friends that you watch a French film, so then they'll think you're smart.
You get to be the fucking coolest guy when it comes to talking movies.
Yeah, in your film school or wherever you're at.
Exactly.
John, how many thumbs or whatever's
What's
on the...
what is the...
Oh, I don't know.
What is the point scale?
If you think of a good one, then just throw it out there.
Are we going thumbs up or stars? Or
we can do thumbs. We can do razor blades, since it's a profit. How many razor blades would you give it?
But how many razor blades do I have?
You got 10 razor blades to give it.
10 razor blades?
Yeah, one being a very bad, and 10 being very good.
I would say 10 is like a very, very rare score.
Very rare, yeah. You gotta say that.
The film's a 9 razor blades.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you take your rating very seriously. So highly recommended by our editor, Mr. John Balen. Thank you, John.
Jeremy, how many cinephobes do you rate it?
How many cinephobes or razor blades for a profit? Ooh, that's a tough one. Again, it's like you said, it's one of those films which you kind of gotta digest.
You have to prep yourself. You have to kind of get strapped in.
Mm-hmm. And you might need a little time to meditate on the film afterward. We're watching it right after we just watched it. Meditate, ruminate. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening to our inaugural podcast for Cinephobia. I've been your host, JP. Russell, thank you for giving us our opinion. And Mr. John Balen, thank you for introducing this wonderful 9 razor blade film to us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll join you all next time.